Gordon Murray of Gordon Murray Automotive that makes the amazing manual V12-powered T50 and T33 revealed to Autocar this week that a tougher and more focused version of the T33 is coming this summer. And this isn't super shocking because the T50 already got an S version that was a little, more hardcore, and so doing the same thing for the T33 certainly makes sense. And so yeah, it's going to be called the T33S, and they said it'll make the suspension aerodynamics sportier for the vehicle, and give it better track performance. But he does clarify that it's a road car, but it's more track oriented, but it's not a track car. So it's very clear that, hopefully this still won't be too hardcore and it'll be something that, isn't brutal on the streets. So that's good to hear. But he did add that it won't be getting just better handling, but will also be faster with more power. And the rev limiter could be extended beyond the already very high 11,100 RPM redline this thing already has. The last car that needs a higher redline, but certainly not going to say no to that. So that's fantastic to hear. It'd also be even more rare than the regular T33's 100 car run. Probably going to do 25, I'm assuming, just like they did for the T50S. They're planning 25 of those. But even just the fact they're doing more than 100 and doing, a few more of these hardcore versions, I think is fantastic. Just the more of these things out there with these screaming Cosworth naturally aspirated V12s, the better off the supercar world is. So that's great to hear. And he also kind of gave some info on what to expect down the road from Gordon Murray Automotive with Autocar here. So he kind of said that once production is done for all those cars, which is going to take a few more years, they said that they're like not even halfway through T50 production. Then once they build those, they got to do the S version. Then they got to do the T33s, then these S versions of that, and then they will, move on to this new car here. But once they do that, around 2028, he said that they'll have a new model, a completely new model. And they said they just finished designing the new architecture for it, and have been working on this vehicle. Currently that's the main focus for him. And so he said, I don't want to just regurgitate the same stuff all the time. So the next car we do after the final version of T33S will be a brand new platform again. A brand new motor car, which they can afford to do because, these are, again, these multi-million-dollar, very limited production stuff. You don't have to worry about economies of scale or, parts sharing and all this kind of stuff. You can just do it from the ground up, name your price, and have them all sold out like he's already done with all these ones already. And for what this vehicle will be like for this new version, all he's saying right now is that it'll be a completely different style of car, and that it's a car I've always wanted to do, which is very intriguing as well. What do you do if it's not a supercar? And he said it will be the best of its type. That's what we aim to do. And that it could absolutely be the best driver's car in its segment, but it'll still be limited to just 100 units again, he's saying. So don't expect anything more attainable or anything more, mass-produced, which is a little bit of a bummer. But again, incredible cars. Always happy to see them, even if they are extremely unobtainable. Still nice to see that someone in the world is enjoying these things, I guess. And also, don't worry about the segment being an EV, with, other companies having to, switch over to that eventually here. He says because of the GMA, the smaller size of the company, that allows them to hang on to the last minute with the V12, while other companies, have to start changing over to hybrid or electric much earlier. But he did admit that they are currently looking into ways to hybridize the V12, that Cosworth V12. But he did say that any hybridization will always be the minimum we need and the least interference to our 7 principles, always. Very interesting to hear that.